Junkyard Junkie, back here with another video. Today's video is going to be a how-to on how to replace your outer tie rods. This really is an easy job, but just like brakes, if you replace one side, you want to replace the other, because after you get them done, you will have to go get it aligned, and that can cost anywhere from $60 to $100 depending on where you're at. So it's better to go ahead and do them in pairs, because if one goes bad and you replace it and then you go get alignment, and then in a month or two down the road the other one goes bad, you're going to have to do the exact same thing all over again. Okay, so one thing you can do is move your steering wheel left and right pretty quickly. That sometimes will create a squeak. That can be an indicator that your tie rods are bad, but it can also be an indicator that your ball joints are bad. So if we crank it up, I can hear the knocking of it, but I don't hear any squeaks. Okay, so next we want to jack up the car. Okay, the best way to check for your tie rods is to put your hand on the 3 and the 9 o'clock position and then shake it back and forth. Let me show you that now. And as you can see, there's a ton of play. That should be steady. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and take out these lug nuts. As I always say on this channel, work smarter, not harder. So what we're going to do is turn the tie rod to be closer to us. So we'll turn it to the right. Look and see how loose this is. So here's the before of me grabbing it and twisting. Super easy. So here's the after. Got a brand new one installed, and you can see it is not going anywhere. So tie rods are crucial for alignment, so we want to try and put it back on here the best we can. That way it's safe to drive to go get yourself in alignment. But we have to take this bolt right here, this jam nut, we want to break it loose. To break it loose, you have to turn it to the right because you want it to go away from the actual outer tie rod. So this nut can be stuck a lot of the times. If it is, give it a little heat all the way around it to make it expand. I got a 7/8 wrench. You can use an adjustable, and I like to do this before I actually take the tie rod out, so that way you're not fighting with the tie rod. But you can also, it has flats right here to put another wrench right here to counter hold it. That one actually broke loose pretty easily. We're just gonna move that up some. Now we're actually going to take the tie rod off now. Okay, with tie rods, you'll see a Carter key right under here. You just want to straighten that out. Usually you can do that with your hands. And now we're going to, I like to use cutting pliers. I don't cut it, I just use them as leverage. So just grab it, just keep working it out. We're not going to reuse the Carter pin anyways. I actually broke it. There we go. Make sure to throw those away. They will puncture a tire. Okay, once you get the Carter pin out, you just want to grab the right socket. For this case, it's an 18. We'll break it loose. The reason they call them castle nuts is they look like little castles. They go on like this. That way your Carter key can go through here and then wrap around it. That way it won't back off. Okay, so what you'll do is you'll grab yourself a hammer like this. And what you'll do is you'll hit it right there on the side. The vibrations will cause it to come loose. This one, since I just did that other video, it'll probably come out. Okay, never mind, no it won't. So all we do is give it a few love taps. I can see it moving, and then it'll come right out. Okay, so there's a bunch of different ways you can go about trying to get it back aligned. You could move this bolt up some more and mark a line, try to line it up with that. My favorite way to do it is to count how many times I spin it off and then put it back on that many times. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20 and a little extra. Okay, so here's our new one. Got a new castle nut. And it usually will have this protective boot, so that way you don't damage any of that. And it is stiff. I can't even really make a move. If I put all my force into it, I could, but I'm putting a decent amount right now. There we go. Now, let's compare those. So that one's really tight. This one, I can move with one finger. So, always match them up. It's already got a grease fitting for us. Okay, so now we're going to try and go for 20 revolutions. So we'll stick it on there a little bit before the starting point. So I got to turn a little bit. It's already caught, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Now we should be very close to our original alignment, and we can just stick it back in. Don't forget this jam nut, we're going to tighten it back up once we get this back installed. So we'll go ahead and put our castle nut on, and now pull it in. It's actually bigger than the 18, so I'll have to go get a 19. Okay, so now I have a 19 millimeter. All right, now you want to torque it down to the specified specs. Okay, so I had to go look up the torque spec. After you get it torqued down, you want to look and find your hole for the carter pin. If it's not lined up, you can go back a little bit or forward a little bit. So we got this lined up. And here's our new carter pin. It's a little bent, but it'll slip right through. Then you just want to bend them around the castle nut. You can take your snippers to do this. Makes it real easy. And this will ensure that the tie rod will not back off. Now then, we're going to tighten back up this jam nut. This time you want to go to the left. There we go, make sure it's good and tight. Okay, so the last thing we want to do is go ahead and grease this up. So we'll put our grease gun on there. Okay, so here's the after. I can't move it at all. I'm putting some real force into that too. It is going nowhere. It is strong. Now I will also shake the wheel back and forth. You hear the rotor coming off a little bit, but if I hold the rotor down, as you can see, I'm shaking it. There's absolutely no play there anymore. So it was definitely that outer tie rod. So just go ahead and turn the wheel back to the forward position. Go ahead and just put your tire back on. Go ahead and get them all started by hand. Okay, once you got them all started by hand, you can run them down, and then once they're on the ground, torque them down to the proper specs. Okay, so here's the after. As you can see, no play, so we can call that fixed. Don't forget to get your jack and jack stands. And that's going to do it for this video. If you found this video helpful, please leave me a like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you.